Today on Prime Report.
So we can't afford the homes. They're buying them up. They're coming out to us and say, "Hey, do you want to rent with us?" Are you serious?
They're really trying to make it impossible for independents.
And if you know, we're in a housing crisis right now.
Could it be that the average cost of rent is like $3,000 for one bedroom? Could it be that these apartment prices are costing people 50 to 60% of their salary, if not more?
As somebody who is a nurse, I'm already concerned about how I'll pay for it. And I'm wondering how other people are literally affording housing right now. And we're about to enter an extreme housing crisis.
Welcome back to Prime Report. The American housing crisis isn't coming. It's already here. Entire families with full-time jobs are being priced out of shelter. The middle class is being crushed. Young people can't even imagine owning a home. And despite this, there are more empty houses than there are homeless people. If that doesn't prove the system is broken, what does? In this video, we look at the root of the crisis, the corporations driving it, and the real voices of people who are being pushed to the edge. Because when working hard isn't enough to keep a roof over your head, the system has failed.
Did you know the reason why it's so hard to buy a home in 2025 in America is partially because of inflation, but also because of private equity? BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, and a bunch of other firms in Wall Street, real estate investment funds, etc., they are pooling their money together, billions of dollars. They're going into the suburbs. They're buying up all the homes. They're competing with prospective buyers like you and me, and in an effort to rent the homes out to us that they just bought. So we can't afford the homes. They're buying them up. They're coming out to us and say, "Hey, do you want to rent with us?" Are you serious? And you know what's hilarious? The Congress knows. They know what these people are doing, but they're not doing anything. Why? Because these huge firms are their donors. Who do you think donates to their campaigns? I got news for you. It's not the Girl Scouts. It's these huge firms with their billions of dollars. They have effectively silenced the rest of America. The people's will means nothing because they control everything. And until such time as we find a way to reform that system of government, our cries for help will continue to be ignored.
They're really trying to make it impossible for independents to live out here. I just got turned down from 3 apartments. All of them well within my price range, and I have proof of paying this amount for over 2 years. But no, it's because of my credit. And you know why my credit is bad? Medical bills. You know, the ones that aren't supposed to affect your credit. So here I am now paying over $250 in application fees just to get denied from everybody because I have medical debt. My housing should not rely on credit if paying rent doesn't report to credit in the first place. Oh, well, why'd you move to Florida if you can't afford it? I'm from here.
No one that works a full-time job should be facing homelessness. And that's what my family is facing right now. Our landlord gave us a 30-day notice to sell our home that we've been in for 8 years. And if you know, we're in a housing crisis right now. And we can't find a home to live in. So after this weekend, that's it. We're going to put everything into a storage unit and be done. And be homeless. Because we cannot find substantial housing. Okay? And the issues that we're facing are every single rental property is, oh, you need to make 3 times to 4 times the rent. Come on. That's unrealistic. The other one is, oh, your credit score needs to be 700 plus. Again, unrealistic. If I had all that criteria, I would go buy a house. I would not be trying to rent anything right now. And I guess I'm just feeling very frustrated because there is a big issue in this country and it needs to be fixed. Something needs to be done. And on top of that, let's talk about how all these rentals are $1,500 and they're shitholes. They're not even decent. Nothing is updated in them. Everything is old. So much to the point where now my family is being resorted to being shoved in a small apartment with our 3 kids, our 2 cats, and our 100-pound German Shepherd. That's a problem because we work full time. We should not be forced into an apartment because we're literally being outbidded by all of these other people at these rental properties. It's you go to a rental property, you put an application in, and so does 30 other people. And they literally just pick out of a hat who gets the house. It's insane, and something needs to be done.
So I'm here in lovely Lawrence, Kansas, and I've just gone around touring some houses that we were hoping we could afford to live in the Midwest, and we can't afford to move to the Midwest. It is actually more expensive than Halifax, Nova Scotia, that has a housing crisis with less than 1% available properties. Yeah. You know why we can't afford to move to the Midwest? Because international conglomerates are buying up all of the properties, all of the residential properties. They will come and buy 50 overnight. They have doubled the cost of housing, and they just take everything. There's nothing. People cannot afford to buy a house. The people that are here buy houses when they become available and make Airbnbs. So there is nothing for a regular human looking to live in, not an investment property, just a house to put over our heads for 2 years and then pass it on to another lucky actual human. So, doesn't look like we can move to Lawrence. That's some shit, huh?
For more than a decade, the U.S. has built far fewer homes, almost half of the homes that were necessary to keep up with the population growth and the changing demographics. So according to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, the U.S. faces a potential housing shortage of 5.5 million homes. So this shortage is due to several factors, underbuilding from that time period, 2008 to 2020. Home construction has never returned to the pre-recession levels, even as the population has grown. Millennials are entering the market. This is the largest generation in U.S. history and is now its prime home buying years, adding significant demand to an already tight market.
But would you look at that? Rental apartments are sitting empty for months. Could it be that rent prices are completely outrageous and out of control? Could it be that the average cost of rent is like $3,000 for a one bedroom? Could it be that these apartment prices are costing people 50 to 60% of their salary, if not more? I truly don't get what the fuck the United States is trying to accomplish. They're building more and more apartment complexes, yet a lot of them are empty. A, why are these politicians allowing these greedy ass developers to buy land and build apartment complexes knowing people can't afford them? Or B, these apartment complex projects just another way for these big ass corporations to money launder. The United States has a single family shortage housing problem, not multi-family apartment complex housing problem. And I find it funny that when you go looking for an apartment, these fucking landlords want first month's rent, last month's rent, a security deposit, and you have to make 3 times the monthly rent of your income. So if you're making $60, $70, hell, even $80,000 a year, you probably won't even qualify for a regular 1-bedroom apartment in the United States. Do people not understand how completely laughable and ridiculous and scummy and disgusting that is? Not to mention they trying to make homelessness illegal. So they're purposely making it unaffordable for you to even get shelter. And if you're out there on the streets homeless, you probably will get arrested and locked up. And don't even get me started on the housing prices along with the mortgage rates. It's fucking out of control. They want you to spend your entire paycheck on shelter alone. So you will have no money left for food. You will have no money left for your maintenance. You will have no money left over for social events with your friends, family, loved ones, or significant other. You will have no money left to go on vacation. You will have no money left to do anything. They want you to wake up, go to work, come back home, wake up, go to work, come back home. Enjoy your little 10 by 14 shelter that you can't even barely afford. Sounds to me like that's another version of slavery. And forget about if you even have kids to take care of and you're paying $2,500 to $3,000 for an apartment. You're going to have to get a second or third job, if not sell some ass or sell some drugs to make ends meet. I'm going to say it again. Who are these developers building these apartment complexes for? Because it's not the regular 9-to-5 hardworking people.
We need to get a house flipping law because this investor house flipping BS needs to be regulated stat. My very moderate idea, I feel like this is a moderate plan, is if it is not your primary residence, you purchase a place that's not your primary residence, you should have to sit on it for 18, maybe 24 months. I don't know. I don't have all the kinks worked out. Before you are allowed to sell it. People are buying these houses all cash, which nobody who actually needs to live in a house can compete with all cash offers. And then they put down some laminate, paint it green or gray or whatever the flipper color du jour is. And then they sell it for $500,000 or $700,000 more. And it's destroying the middle class chance of owning a home and driving up the housing crisis. So I would really like to hear other opinions, other ideas for some kind of house flipping regulations. What do you got?
Did you guys hear about this? In the state of California, if you make $100,000 a year, you're actually considered poor. No, I'm not kidding. Take a look here. Residents making an annual income of up to $109,700 are considered poor in some counties in the state of California. Do you remember as a kid thinking about $100,000? Do you remember what that felt like to just dream up, what if I made $100,000? And now that is being considered low income. Honestly, it just makes me curious about the state of California and its future. I mean, thinking about how insurance costs have skyrocketed in the last 12 to 24 months, it kind of makes me feel like the only people that can survive that economy are the people that are already there. Like, how can you start a life in California? It seems like impossible. You would have to have some type of wealth to have any leg up to be able to purchase a home. And I feel like for first-time home buyers, it's really just a pipe dream of owning a home unless you have a rich grandma. I don't know. I could be wrong here because I'm just a simple Alabama mortgage guy. But let me know in the comments what you guys think.
I need someone to explain this to me like I'm a 2-year-old. It's literally so camp that everywhere you go in New York City, everyone's saying there's a housing crisis. You can't find a place. This is what Zillow looks like in New York City for renters, and these are just a few neighborhoods. But if you look closely, every place is like 4.9, 6.5, 5.5, and they are all studio apartments. So can someone please explain to me why it's more lucrative for these companies to buy more buildings, destroy neighborhoods to build more buildings, than it is to just rent their properties at a reasonable rate? Why is it more lucrative for all of these buildings to be empty? And if they're empty and there are millions of us, and let's be generous, like a couple thousand of them, should we get a Facebook group together? Like, this is insane. This is insane. Oh, and side note, I'm a native New Yorker and I'm currently getting pushed out of my neighborhood along with pretty much everyone else in this neighborhood because it's become such a hot spot for rich white teenagers. Help me. Help me.
This is $1 million house, and look how they braced up the roof. I mean, anybody could tell you that this isn't doing anything. Half of these braces fell over. And this is in South Dakota, so it gets a lot of snow load. So it was definitely a concern, but it just makes you question, if they're willing to frame the roof like this, how did they frame the rest of the house? And unfortunately, this is not uncommon. We see this kind of quality of work all the time. It's actually kind of sad in a way. The people are buying the biggest investment of their life, and they trust these people to build them a house. And these people obviously don't know how. They just scab this shit together and they call it good. America's housing shortage will result in the absolute worst built houses in the world. So the quality of work is not going to get any better. If anything, it's going to get a lot worse. If they're going to throw these houses up faster, you can imagine the work is going to go way down. So you got to be very, very careful who you hire and what house you buy, because this was on $1 million house.
The most money my mother ever made salary-wise before credit scores were invented was $60,000. When she made that $60,000, when she got to that point, we were so comfortable, and she had a house. With that salary, she bought a house. That was the ending salary, because the salary before that was like $45,000 and she bought a house with that. And then after we had been in the house, then her salary went up to $60,000. And people are saying you don't qualify to get a house. You got $250,000 salary. And they're thinking that they make sense when they sound insane, because our parents and grandparents never made that much money and they have houses. So are you going to continue licking the boot? Are you going to continue licking the boot, hoping that you make it up there with them by licking the boot? Are you going to actually do something? Are you going to help your fellow person? Are you going to educate yourself so we can figure out how to get rid of this system?
This housing crisis didn't happen overnight. It's the result of decades of policy failure, unchecked greed, and a system that rewards profit over people. And while the numbers are alarming, the real story lies in the lives behind them. The families couch surfing, the workers sleeping in cars, the young adults giving up on ever owning a home. If this is what the future looks like, something has to change. So if this story hits close to home, if you're one of the many struggling just to have one, share this video, speak out, and stay informed. Because no one should have to work full-time just to end up without a place to live.